This is like my 4th time trying to shoot this video. Not that it's hard or anything like that. I just want to give out the right message about my coming out. And I want it to be perfect. And maybe it is a little hard to talk about it. But I want it to be my complete and true and real story. The best one that I could ever come up with. And it's so hard to get it on video. Crack open our second LaCroix of the day. First and most importantly, I identify as a lesbian, and it took a lot for me to finally come to terms with that term specifically, because even when I first came out when I was 16, I never wanted to identify as a lesbian, and I didn't feel like it was the term for me because it felt like a dirty word. It felt like a dirty word for so long, even after I came out, that I kind of just like put other labels on myself. Instead of just saying I was a lesbian, I would say I was queer, I would say I was bisexual, which really was those things. I was a lesbian this whole time. I just didn't accept the term for myself. I felt like it was just a disgusting word, and it had dirty connotations to it, and it had so much grossness to it, and that was just all my internalized homophobia up until last year, when I just realized that I would never date anyone but a girl. I would never want to raise a family with anyone but a girl. I just kind of accepted it, and now it doesn't feel like such a dirty word. It feels much happier. It feels freeing. And of course, this is just for me, you know, this is just my personal story, and I cannot speak on the behalf of anyone else besides myself. But that was the steps I had to finally realizing, you know, who I am. And I did label myself as other things. I never was bisexual. I never was queer. I was always a lesbian. It took a long time to come to that realization. Growing up, I always knew I was a little different from everyone else. I just felt different, and I could never explain it. I could never like put it into terms. I could never kind of point out why I felt I was different than everyone else. I just felt like kind of wrong inside. I would almost exclusively be friends with girls, and when I was friends with these girls, I would get too attached to them. Like, I do specifically remember this one time when one of my friends, who I was very close with, who I considered one of my best friends in middle school, when she moved away, I remember crying for such a long time, almost like the whole afternoon after school. I just cried and cried and cried. For me, it felt like a heartbreak. It felt like a loss. It felt like the world was ending, and I kind of didn't realize how weird that was until, you know, looking back at it now. Sis, you are gay. I also tried to fit in with all my friends. I would get boyfriends here and there, but I would never like hang out with these guys. I never knew their last names. I just knew them as my boyfriend, and we would kiss and we would hold hands, but that's about it. Like, literally no talking went into it. I was just like, okay, you're my boyfriend. That's it. I would kind of get distant, and then it would be off. Like, we wouldn't be boyfriend and girlfriend anymore. That's how most of my relationships with guys kind of went, and I feel really bad for them. It was always just like me ghosting them and me feeling literally no emotion whatsoever towards them, but I would still call them my boyfriend because, you know, I wanted to fit in. When I did come out, my mother always kind of knew I was gay, and she knew I was a lesbian. She never believed any of the bisexuality thing that I tried to like enforce on her, because I never really was bisexual, and she kind of saw through that. She knew things about me before I could even know, you know, and she was just like, okay, I accept you no matter what. Not a lot of parents are like that, and I'm so lucky to have my mom be that parent. And she wasn't always like that. She wasn't always so accepting of gay people or anything like that, because I remember growing up, she wasn't at all. She was a very, I mean, she wasn't really like a Christian mom, but she just didn't like gay people when I was growing up, and she thought gay people were going to hell. It wasn't until I was a teenager until she finally realized like being gay wasn't bad, and then she like kind of fully accepted me from the get-go. She watches Carol with me every holidays. She's the most supportive mom that I could ever ask for. There's three types of people. There's the people who accept you and are supportive, and then there's people who like don't care. That was my sister. And then there's people who are totally opposed to it whatsoever. And for the most part, I feel like that's a lot of my family still to this day. But I really don't pay them any attention because, first of all, they don't see me every day. They don't help me with school. They don't help me with buying clothes. They don't help me with rent or anything like that. That's my mom. And that's really the only person that I need to explain myself to is my mom and my sister, because they are there for me every day. You know, the rest of my family, if they accept me or not, I could care less because they're not with me every day. I always liked coming out stories because of the fact that, you know, watching other people's coming out stories like, you know, Hannah Hart's or whoever, I always feel really happy for them. Hearing people being so proud and making a whole video about being gay and just talking about how they came to terms with it, it really helped me personally. When I finally realized, it helped me ground myself as a person, and I feel much more alive and I feel much more a part of a community than I ever felt before. It's something that I'm really proud of, and I love so much, and I love girls, and I love my community, and I love Carol 2015. Anyway, that's my coming out story. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment down below, subscribe, share with a friend, like it, unlike it, do whatever. Share with your grandma, share with your mother. I hope you guys liked it, and love you so much, and thank you.